Welcome to another episode of Crypto Chit Chat with Carmen Crypto. In today's episode, I am sitting down with both of the founders of Rebel Traders Token, Rebel Ray and Rebel Matt. They have been good friends of Disco Burn Token and DYOR since the beginning. And I sit down with them and we get to learn their crypto story, and then we get to trigger them with what was their first scam and all those memories. I had such a great time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Crypto Chit Chat with Carmen Crypto. In today's show, I have the two founders of Rebel Traders Token, and they are good friends of mine. Since the inception of Disco Burn Token, we have really been close with you guys. In fact, we were you guys were our first AMA hosts for DBT. So I would love, love, love to welcome you to the Crypto Chit Chat show. Welcome, Matt, and welcome, Rebel Ray.
Thanks, Carmen. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Now, guys, I utilize this show to put leaders from different crypto projects into the seat to find out what your story is, what you feel about crypto, what are some of the advices you want to give to the new investor. And this is also my way of learning your stories. So, in fact, with both of you, I have not heard your crypto origin story. So, we are going to start there, just like we do with every show. Rebel Matt, we'll start with you. Why don't you take us back to the beginnings of what got you into cryptocurrency and made you so passionate about it that now you own a token?
Well, actually, my story really began, I guess, in 2017. I stumbled on it. I mean, I knew about crypto beforehand. Of course, I thought it was a joke. I didn't have enough information to, invest in it type deal. Either way, 2017, I decided, you know what, this thing's really kicking butt and popping off. So I'm going to go ahead and invest a little bit. And so I did. It was right at the end of 17, going into 18. I ended up buying a couple different things. And then about 2 weeks later is when the big market crash, and Bitcoin went from like 17, 18,000 down to like 3. So my first part in crypto was not that great of an experience. Let's put it that way. But of course, I just kind of left it there and let it do its thing. And finally, I got back in the green in this last little run we've had here in, I guess, 21, whenever I jumped into SafeMoon right when it launched. And that's where my first big kick started. And then I guess the excitement and the knowledge of it and actually learning what it's about, it pulled me into where I'm at today.
Okay, so that's a lot for me to process because I'm still stuck on you bought 2 weeks before the bear market came and you got wrecked.
Yes.
And okay, I like Rebel Ray, I'm gonna get to your story, but I'm really stuck in here because that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen to some people depending upon when destiny hits you and you get into crypto. So for you, you got in. What was the first token that you bought during that run?
The main token I got, of course, I didn't go into the the bigger blue chips or nothing like that, but it was TRX Tron. They had
Okay.
they had just come off their run to like 27 cents. Fell back to, I think it was around 11 cents or so. And I was like, you know what? I like what they're doing. I'm going to buy some of that. So I went into that. And like I said, of course, 2 weeks later, everything dropped and it went to, I think, less than a penny.
You
So it
can't
was
see me right now, but I look like Macaulay Culkin with both of my hands up to my cheeks because I'm thinking, like, here you are, I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes. You're sitting there going, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy the crypto. And you think you're buying a dip, and little do you know you're buying the dip, like the dip
exactly.
that's gonna last for a long dip.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean,
not to laugh at it, but how, I mean, did you keep it? Did you wreck yourself and sell, at a loss? Like, as a new trader, we have such bad behaviors. So what were the first go-tos for you when you realized, oh no, it's going down, and it keeps going down, and it's not coming back? I mean, you roll into 2018 and 19 and 20, and it's not coming back. So what do you do between then and now, and how did your passion for crypto grow from that experience?
well, the thing about it is, yeah, it dropped like crazy, and of course, I went ahead and DCA'd on the way down. Bought some more to try and get my position down. And at the time, even though the markets was down and it was doing terrible, Tron itself had a bunch of swings up and down, even though it wasn't large. So that's where I started actually playing the market with Tron. Buying, when it was at a low peak and then running back up and dropping it when it was at a higher one. And I kept swing trading it till I finally got my average down to about 2 cents. So I went from an 11-cent entry to a 2 cent average by the time I was done, with not really investing a whole lot more. It's more just swing trading. And like I said, that part of it's what really got me excited. Learning how to do it, and how to actually make it work, even though the market was down. So it's
Well, I mean, thank goodness you stayed, and you had a lot of time to learn how to get through the toughest of times, which means, if when you see the momentum kick up, you're in nothing but great smiles. But you're the person now that's well equipped to handle what's to come with the bear market. So good for you. My story's a little opposite. I came in 2 weeks, before things started to fly. So we're on opposite
yeah.
ends of the spectrum where I'm like, "This is amazing. I love
Oh,
it."
oh yeah.
And I haven't experienced the dip yet. So Rebel Ray, why don't you take us back and tell us how long you have been in crypto, and what was the deciding factor to get your toe dipped into it?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. So, I kind of came into investing, like I always viewed that as people with lots of money because of trading fees and things like that. And, I'm one of these Robin Hood kids who like, oh, great, we've got free trading now. I can get in that world because I love numbers, I love math, I love doing research on companies. So I started investing in stocks. And so I ended up on StockTwits, of course, and you'd start to see these things trending, and I'm like, all these .x things, what are all these .x things? And my eyes were kind of open, like, all right, so there are other cryptocurrencies out there other than just the Bitcoin and Ethereum that they have on some of the trading platforms. And Dogecoin was there. It's just one of those things. It was like, all right, so I understand there's more out there. And I think it was just through researching and talking to people. Of course, I had invested some in Ethereum, in Bitcoin, made some money here, lost some money there, made a good chunk of money on the Dogecoin. But I was like, this is weird. I want to know what else is out there. So somebody finally got me plugged in, and I'm one of those safe moon people where that was my first toe dipped in. And let me tell you something, like that was scary, right? Because when you get on the interwebs and you got to go to Pancake Swap, and there's syrup on pancakes and bunny rabbits everywhere, and you have to do some moon pay to get your money in. All I could think was, these are all the dark alleys that people say don't enter in your financial details on things like this. And I'm like, I'm gonna get screwed on this. But I put it out there. I was like, all right, I got $300. I'm putting it out there. I know that I could lose it all. Let's do this safe moon thing that everybody seems to be talking about, and it's getting spammed across all the channels. And that was my first entry into DeFi. Beyond just some basic trading of the big cryptocurrencies, and that was what opened the door for me to realize the world that's out there. And then slowly migrating from StockTwits to a couple people that I met and learned to trust there, who introduced me to Telegram and kind of the whole world of conversation that's surrounding all these different projects. And so that's what got me started into this. That was my origin story there.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, I felt the same way too when I got into DeFi and I started using Pancake Swap. I had a like Jesus take the wheel type moment where I'm like, okay, it's
Oh
gone.
yeah,
It's not in my
it's
wallet anymore. It's now this token, and let's hope for the best, right? And I was running around rampant, and I was scammed after scam after scam after scam, and luckily, I'm from Vegas, so I play small bets, just to see
there
what's
you go.
happening. You got to learn from the experience and embrace the failure, right?
Got
Why
to.
don't you guys tell me, and one of you can take the lead here, but how did the two of you, like, where in your crypto careers did you guys become acquainted and start to plan to develop something that was going to be community based and a token in itself? And, you guys have a story that what I know about the two of you, especially with knowing Matt a little longer, is that you guys are like so into the rabbit hole that you guys are reading contracts. You can actually create swappers, and Matt, you're a contract writer, and that's so fantastical to me. I like want to understand, what did you take from pre crypto life into this life now, and how did the two of you come up with the concept to start a token?
Ooh man, Matt, you want to start in on that? We've had
I
a
can
great
start in on
history.
it.
We've had a great history working together. I want to hear how you view it.
Oh yeah. Well, of course, the main I guess meeting of me and Ray, and then the other people that are involved with the core team of Rebels, all started with Vault. Back whenever it was the real Vault, Safe Vault, when it first come out, and like I said, we got in right at the start of that. Ended up becoming mods there at Safe Vault, and that's where we got to know each other. The main core group, and me and Ray hit it off good because of course he's a numbers guy, and I'm just kind of there. I can keep peace and make everybody happy, I guess. So we started off as mods, going through that whole roller coaster that went on there, and we, yeah, and so we could see the good, the bad, what we would like to see that didn't happen, the stuff we did see that we did like, stuff
Yep.
like that, and that's what kind of pushed us to want to make a group to invest, basically to find good projects to invest in, and that's where our story started, and that's where Rebel began shortly after that.
Yeah, just the five of us coming together at first saying, hey, never mind this diamond-handed mentality, like one project to the death. Like diversification is important and it's good. And I wanted to find out, and I've always felt that way, like what other projects are other people involved in? And so we created the group of just the five of us to say, here's what we're looking at, and put other sets of eyes on it so we could get some feedback from people. I mean, there's been plenty of times people have said, nah, that looks like a scam. That's stupid. And I'm like, I'm not going there. And times that others have brought stuff to the table that I never would have found, been like, oh man, that's awesome, right? Like, and it was the whole nine, whether it's just opportunity for whitelist or investing in something, or even that we've worked together as mods again on other projects, like you name it. We just wanted to get connected with the field and the industry and the space of DeFi so that we could be in the know about what is going on. No longer kind of left just catching the green candles as is already happened, so to speak, but kind of being aware of what's happening before it's going on. And that takes a lot of effort, but it's been so fruitful and so worth it. Just researching, talking to people, building relationships, like building trust with people, working as mods, sometimes for free, just so that we have a whitelist spot, just so that we're in the know about what's happening and when. Like it's a lot of work, but it's been well worth it.
What I love about what you said is that, having a mod position gave you the ability to kind of be the in between as a community leader, right? Person that people can come to for questions. Community engagement is always a big priority for people who hold that role, whether it's paid for or volunteer. But it also gives you this ability to have access to the team that's running the project. And from there, there's so much insight. But then, what resonated with me a lot about what you said and kind of like brought up a light bulb moment for me was when you get into this space, you know that you have to learn a lot, and there's so much about crypto. There's all these corners and walls and little twists and turns. You can be an NFT master, you can be a DAO master, you can be, a meme community token master, and all these little spaces. But positioning yourself in a place like what you and your five, community members coming together as a team and saying, we're going to do this and we're going to help each other out, gives you that ability to kind of like lean on everybody's strengths. But you also have to
Absolutely.
learn, and so also being exposed to different projects is the way to learn, because some people are gonna be using new technology, they're gonna be promising innovation, they're gonna be utilizing new contract features, and so because we're in the space of so much technology advancement and, some of it is secret because they're not ready to launch it or, and we won't know it until 3 months from now and go, "Oh, man, if I had known that then, I would have done things differently." So things are so change, like they're so evolving and it's changing in this space that yes, learning and doing are almost one and the same. And even
Yes.
people who hold leadership roles are still learning because we have to run through the roadmap and stay flexible and adaptable to change, right? Because I think I might be able to get there in 3 months, but if technology hits in a way where I can deliver that in 2 weeks, I'm going to take the opportunity to do it. So it's
Exactly.
exciting times. Okay, so this is the painful part of the show because this is where my guests get triggered. Okay, um, now
Oh
for anybody
man.
who's coming into this DeFi space, and for the listeners who are listening to this podcast, we've all been scammed. So we have to just go back to the day that you got your first scam. And what was that experience like? Tell us a little bit about the project. What did you fall in love with it, or did you know anything about it before you aped in? And then what were the ramifications of that?
Oh man. So I think this will be good for new listeners. I'll jump on this one first. My first, because I was just getting into pre-sales, and this was actually before I had learned as much as I had with Vault and different places. I actually went in for a pre-sale for Baby Safe Moon because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do a DX sale and I'm gonna get in the door. And anyway, they had a problem. They didn't know what they were doing, and there's something wrong with actually contributing on DX sale. But I had heard from somebody that you can send BNB directly to the pre-sale address, and I did it. And so I went into chat, and they were like, "It's failed." And I'm like, "Well, mine went through because I sent directly." And they're like, "You can't do that." And I'm like, "I'm new, I know, but I already know more than you, in that you can do that because I know how to go on to BSC scan. I saw where my BNB went into their contract. It's all good." Anyway, little tip for new investors: be careful about the FUD in chats, because if you are in a suspicious chat, and this was just a rug, obviously, but they'll ban you in a heartbeat. So there I was out in the wilderness, no links, no way to find out where I was or what I was doing. I had already closed my browser window, couldn't find the pink sale or the DX sale link, and I'm just like, huh. And so, so still to this day, you talk about triggered. I'm like, I know my point 0.8 BNB is out there somewhere in pink sale. I spent hours on the phone and in emails with their customer service, like, please find me this pre-sale. I found where I sent the BNB, but I can't get it back. And I still hold out hope that one day I'm going to get that back. But that was the first rug. Of course, they deleted the Telegram. They deleted the website. They deleted everything. Like it was a total scam. Anyway, that was my fault. I don't even know if I was on DX sale. Who knows? It's over now. But I want my point 0.8 BNB back. I want it back.
I I can hear it. I can hear it. Guys, there's point 0.8 BNB out there. It has Rebel Ray's name on it. Do not touch it. Return to sender.
You dirty
And
rotten
ticket,
scammers.
right. DXL ticket number 325. No, okay. It's a cold case at this point, Robo Ray. You know what?
No, it's not.
You had
I'm not
mentioned like,
giving up. Don't tell me to let it go, Carmen. It's not over till I can
oh
still
no.
see where that money is on the network. It's immutable.
Isn't that a crazy thought though? Like to know that everything is registered on the blockchain and yet you still can't get to the murderer. Like
Oh, that's a painful thought.
it is. It is. We'll get you a Dateline 2020 special and we'll
Oh,
find your point 0.8 BNB.
go fund
It'll
me.
be a cause. New
Go
token
fund me.
coming soon when CNC. Okay, Matt. This is you and your spotlight. And don't give me anything like because I trust you so much when you talk about tokens and when you like call out certain functions in a contract. I'm like, yeah, if Matt said it, it's true. And so it would make it would make me really mad, like happy and mad at the same time. If you sat there and told me you were never scammed, but tell me different. Have you experienced a scam? What was it like?
I have never been scammed. No, I'm lying.
That's
I've
it.
been.
Off the show. We're ending it now. Shortest chit chat.
Yeah. No, I will say I've been very lucky. I have gotten scammed, a bunch of times. But as far as for the most part, I do as much research as possible before I get into a token. And a lot of times that doesn't matter. I mean, it can be, a bulletproof contract. It can have, an unruggable type contract, and it still um, can have bad players or bad, owners that decide to rug it. But the only one that I can really say that made me really mad, I guess, about any of it, and it was a complete, off the wall DGN type play. It was a pre-sale. I just happened to see it. Everybody was talking about it, and it's funny because the name of it is Nude Coin.
Uh-oh.
And
This is a
yeah,
face palm moment, Matt.
oh yeah.
Ooh.
Well, like I said, I mean, the contract was a decent built contract. Everything looked okay on it. They had the pre-sale. First they had a private sale, which I didn't get in on the private sale. But they had a big private sale. People got in. Then they had a pre-sale. So I jumped in on a pre-sale. And I can't remember if it was on DXL or if it was on Pink Sale or where it was at. But either way, they did the pre-sale. Everybody got in. It filled up, almost instantly. I think I was 2 BNB was the max. Of course, I bought a max wallet. And it gets ready to launch, and they finalize everything, and the liquidity goes in, and it never launches. They never hit the go button at all. And they I guess they ran with the private sale money, and of course they didn't put a whole lot from the pre-sale as liquidity. And at the time, I still wasn't up on the whole liquidity stuff. I had to learn that as I went. So I'm thinking, they're putting a low amount in just to keep the liquidity low, so it'll be a good shot, take off good. So, I'm waiting for it to launch, and then everything goes silent. The TG gets closed. I mean, everything. And I actually just went back to the token itself because, of course, the liquidity was locked for a period of time. And of course, that has been pulled now, so I guess it unlocked. But either way, it's a coin that never even launched, and they took everybody for a loop.
So I'm like
So
second guessing myself here. And, I've asked this, question to so many people on the podcast and off the podcast. And when they start off with like, well, it was a DGen play, and then they start saying, and if you give me 2 or 3 sentences before you tell me the token name, this means that this must have been embarrassing. So I'm second guessing myself. Did you say nude coin? Like no clothes coin?
Yes,
Like nude?
nude coin was what it was. It was
Okay.
an adult, themed type coin. I can't remember what the exact thing they were doing, but it
So
was a lot of people in there and everybody was hyper about it. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy it. And I just looked, and apparently the liquidity unlocked 12 days ago. And you can see where it immediately got pulled and sent to Pancake Club for all the BNB, 698 BNB.
So guys,
So
there's another ticket out there for Dateline to research. There's two
Oh,
BNB out there with Rebel Matt's name on it.
that's right.
Uh, they didn't send the nudes. He didn't get his
Yep.
nudes.
And of
oh.
course, that wallet that got the 698 immediately transferred it out. Now I'm going to have to follow it and see where all it goes.
Well, now you've kind of become like the Scooby Doo of crypto, where you can sniff, wallet trails, and you're getting fantastic at, finding out functions in contracts that could be a concern. So I'm sure that as you go through these experiences, it's driven you to get more knowledgeable so that you can protect your money and yourself. And to an advantage of those that are in your community, who those partnering projects that work with you guys, that is good because we need people in this space who have had that experience, heavily dislike it, and want to do something different about it. And for people like myself, I'm just not that tech savvy. I have my own skill sets and I bring to the table something different that sometimes people can't do themselves, and it can't be taught. But what you guys do or what you do, Matt, like to dig into these things is it always blows my mind because it's people like you that people like me have to lean on for that. But we all know that we've all experienced that at some point or another. And so for anyone listening to this podcast who's new to this space, the purpose of asking this question is to really show that like you are going to have to embrace the failure. And the best way to embrace the failure in this space when you encounter a malicious project that's going to take your money and give you a customer service ticket that you're going to hold for the rest of your crypto life, that's where you learn a lesson and you raise your standards. So segueing into, the next portion for you guys, there's a lot of best practices out there that I think are really good, and things like, is the developer docs, is the liquidity locked? Like there's some things that I think are really becoming standards in this space, that when we take a look back into June and July of last year, when renounced contracts were the thing, these things, even some of the most basic red flags, were not there. But we're in 2022. We're kind of in this realm of migrating to new contracts, technology is evolving. There's an environment with the war and its impact on the stock market and the crypto markets. But from your perspective today, what are some of the advices that you would give to new investors in order for them to be best equipped to avoid scams right now?
Mm, mm. I might jump on that first, Matt, and give you a second to think on it. But we've been talking a lot about this recently. And this is advice for new and seasoned crypto investors. We got spoiled in the spring and summer of 2021, like in a big way. It's like anything that you could get your hands on a pre-sale for was going to at least net you 2x. And most of them were going to hit 7 or 8 before they started trailing off. And so everybody wanted in everything. I mean, I'll admit, even there were things I didn't do very good research on because everything was taking off. And so my advice, although it sounds simple, is don't be discouraged right now. The opportunity to invest in quality projects and make money and make returns is still far greater than in other areas of investment. DeFi is still a great space to see the future of what's coming, and be a part of that and make good profits. But the biggest thing is don't get greedy. Like, don't walk into this space because you've heard all these people, and we'll tell some great stories about how we got where we are, but we've been just spinning our wheels and just grinding away for months now, with our wallets sitting lower and lower, because you can't just change lanes constantly on tokenomics tokens. And there's been a lot of chaos, but don't be discouraged, and don't take those losses, whether it's a scam or a rug, or whether it's, the project didn't perform the way you hoped. Don't take that and say, man, forget this space, this is worthless. Just dig in, be more patient, do good research. Those wins are going to come. Those success stories are going to come. And we're just in a really tough time right now. And there's a lot of discouragement, a lot of lack of engagement. I mean, even I understand that. Like, this is not the most profitable place to be spending your time right now. So I hope people are doing other profitable, whether that's personally, emotionally profitable things elsewhere in some ways, as they just wait, as they are patient with the projects that they trust in and believe in. But yeah, the big thing is have realistic expectations and be surprised when they're beaten. Just like with projects, under promise, over deliver. Like, don't go into a pre-sale hoping for 8 to 10x and then you're going to sell it. Go into a pre-sale hoping that they launch successfully and that you have a steady growth and an opportunity to, whether if it's a rewards token, make rewards, or if it's not, just to make and secure some profits. But beyond that, like, set your expectations in a realistic way, and you'll have a lot more sanity in this space. And I think that's been big on my heart for a while. I have to preach that to myself too, right? Like, I miss May of 2021 when my wallet doubled every 17 days.
Right. That's how you lost your .8 BNB, man.
Stop it.
You know,
Listen, keeping me humble, Carmen. You're keeping me humble, aren't you? It's not
you
gone.
know,
It's not lost.
well, what impacted me and what you said that was really impactful was don't let greed overtake your decisions. And we've talked here so many times with so many leaders in the seat about not having an emotion to how you are buying and selling your crypto, right? Have a logical
Yeah,
reason, have facts that give you a deciding factor on whether or not this is not a good investment for you or if this is good. Plus the greed factor is an emotion. So if you're greedy, then yes, you're going to make some emotional decisions on that. And you might also make too quickly. You might make too quick of investments, laddering
oh yeah,
in, laddering out. If you're looking at a project, don't think, what is it going to look like in 3 days? What is it going to look like? What's the price potential when CMC hits? Like, those are just the beginnings of projects. And if people have that mindset, this is going to completely stunt the ability for projects to leverage the power of the blockchain if they're met with investors with this mindset, where they're only going to be in for
absolutely.
5 days. They're only going to be there till the CMC listing, and then they're going to be gone. And you're devastating projects. And even if they're good, I mean, new token may have been good. I don't know. There's a wide industry out there for people with no clothes, and that could be a safe bet. I'm sorry, Matt. You guys are fun, by the way. But that resonated with me well, and that's something I'm going to walk away with is understanding greed is also an emotion. And if I agree that emotion is not necessarily the best way to be investing, then greed needs to be taken out of the equation as well. Matt, what are
No, that's
your
good.
advices?
What was that?
What are your advices? What should new investors know?
Um, the biggest thing that I can advise is invest in the people of the project, not necessarily what all they're doing or what all technologies they're doing or the specialties that they're doing, but the team itself and how engaged they are in the project and how open they are to the community. is one of my biggest advices. If you find groups like that and you find teams like that, those are the ones that will succeed far more than anybody else. Of course, most of the time it's not going to be a big moonshot. You're going to make a ton of money all at one time. But those are the projects that's going to keep pushing forward and keep working through whatever comes up for their investors. They're not out. They're not in it for themselves. They're trying to help their investors and make the project work for their investors. So that's my biggest piece of advice. The other things is of course, don't put in more than you're willing to lose, because it is crypto. That's everybody's advice. Everybody should follow. If I would hate to be the person jump into crypto and put everything they got in it and be like, oh, well, what do I do now? I just lost it all.
Yep.
That's not, we're not at that point in crypto to where you can invest freely without having to worry. Hopefully at one point we'll be able to get closer to that in some way. But like I said, you really need to just watch the team and watch what you invest and watch how much you invest, and don't get yourself caught up in a situation where if you lose that, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what Matt's really saying is don't spend the rent money and put it into a pre-sale bag hoping to get it back 5 times, in 5 days in time to pay your rent, right?
Exactly.
Like straight talk, real talk.
That's real talk.
Matt, one of the things that you said, I think has been said many a time in different platforms, which is invest in a team and think about the people that are in the leadership positions and take a look at their actions. Now, I've mentioned before on this podcast that like I can't walk into Macy's and just be like, take me to your leader. I want to talk to the president of the company. That's not how it works. And I'll absolutely be deemed a Karen. But in crypto, that's a little different, right? You can for our tokens, you can come into the community and you can tag my name and we can have a conversation, or we can take it to DMs, or you can meet me in a VC and I have access. You have access. To your point, what do you think are some of the standards that people should have when they walk into a token? Because I think sometimes I feel from some investors that they're in awe that they're talking to somebody on the leadership team. And it makes me feel like, oh my gosh, they should know that they're empowered to have that right to do that, and especially in this space. Now, if the token grows to like safe moon status, yeah, I can imagine that the team is a little bit more structured out and now there's gatekeepers, but not in the space that we live in. 5,000 or less holders, you should still be able to get in touch with a token dev and ask questions and have a conversation. What do you think are some of the key expectations that people should be okay having in this space? What makes good leaders?
To me, of course, the most important part is the transparency. It doesn't matter if you've got, 300 holders or 3 million. You can still be transparent, and you can still, acknowledge and put forth effort towards your community to make them feel like they are an investor of not only the token or whatever, but of the team and the owner. Like I said, it doesn't take, even if it's just once a week or however, and even if it's a recorded video of you talking, there's all kinds of stuff that can be done to still show that you care for the community, no matter how big the project goes or how many people are in it. And like I said, that's the kind of teams and tokens I want to be involved in. So
I agree.
Yeah, I
Me
like
too.
that. I like that. And I think just the matter of being there and answering questions and showing respect. Like I expect the leadership team to show respect. I expect that of mods as well. And we hold that standard. I understand that mods get a little bit wilder sometimes, and that's fine. But being able to show respect and answer questions professionally and not defensively. When I run into defensive, rude people, and I just sit here and think, if they're not taking me seriously, how are they going to take my money seriously? It's just, seems like common sense. And so some of that's just humility, right? Like, I know where I came from. I had to learn all this at one point too. So, there's people who come into chat, of course, who are just fudders and just being negative for no good reason. But even those, we try to engage them and say, hey, tell me what it is you want to see, because you come in here negative and hot all the time. And listen, it's just, look around you. Like, we're in a state of chaos, and all of cryptocurrency is very volatile, or at least very shaky right now. So, like, help me understand what your issue is, and seeing people for who they are, right? Like, people are concerned. They've been rugged a lot and screwed over a lot, and they just want a little reassurance, like, oh yeah, you are still here. And so be there and show respect, because if that's lacking, I will walk away from a project completely.
Those are really, really good points, because yeah, there are definitely people out there with a mission to troll. They don't hold anything. They don't hold your bag, and yet they find their way into your VCs, into your chat, and they're there, and that's their personality, and that's the attention that they want. And so, but not everybody is coming from that standpoint.
Right.
And there are some people that, based on their own personal needs, they may not be aware of what's going on, and so they do need somebody on the other side to have a little bit more empathy and at least kind of search through, what's the concern, what's the real question, what do you know, what don't you know. Like, maybe it's just as simple as, here's the last VC that we had as a community, and this will get you up to date, and that should take care of all the concerns and catch you up. And it could be as simple as that. Or it could
Yep.
be, hey, we're really deciding that this is not the right fit because your expectations are here, and we're not going to be able to deliver on that expectation because we never promised that. So, that could be also the issue there. Um, so yeah, it's a wild thing, because you are dealing with people, and they're investing their money into your project. And so yes, there is an accountability that's on the leadership to at least address concerns with respect. So I think that was a fantastic point. Now, this is the fun part, guys. What about crypto gets you extremely excited when you think about the future of what it looks like 5 years from now, 10 years, within your lifetime, within your children's lifetime as adults? Think about it in any way, or timeline capacity as you want. But when you tell me what you're excited about, tell me, how is Rebel Token going to contribute to that future that you see?
Ooh, that's a good
Of
one.
course, yeah, of course. I see eventually, a real, mass adoption of crypto. The biggest thing is the technology is so far advanced from what people can, I guess, understand right now. And it's continuing to get further and further, advanced. Every day is changing. But the technology is so good and can be so useful that there's no way that eventually it will not take over and be mass adopted. And like I said, as far as Rebel, in my opinion, like I said, the way Rebel is set up is, you're you're basically, holding a portion of the community wallet that we set up, by holding in Rebel. And as it, as the market does kick off and does get mass adopted, the different stuff that's invested in that wallet from Rebel is all very good key plays that's going to be big in the future. And so it's going to, constantly increase, the value of Rebel token, because it's all going back to the token holders.
And that's why I hold my Rebel token. I let you guys make the decisions for me.
I like it. Yeah, we're already there. We talk about mass adoption, but let's face it, we're already in a world that utilizes digitalized currency. It just, it's changing shape. I have people that I work with that are still reticent to go and pay a bill online. No, I'm going to send a check. And I'm like, we have digital currency now, That's actually what I say. And I'm not referring to DeFi. Um, it's out there. And so my hope, right, and this is where we come in as Rebel traders, is we want to bring validity to DeFi. Like, I see DeFi for what it can be, and BSC even for what it can be, not just trash pump and dump coins or scams. Here's my dream, Carmen. Like, when something hits a stock exchange and you see that there were like seed investors in that, like, I
Right.
imagine some of the concepts that are being brought to DeFi being the start of real and major companies that maybe one day list on a stock exchange. And then you and I are going to be one of those seed investors that already own some of the shares of that company. Or maybe we get entirely away from the stock exchanges. Who knows? But the point is, my dream and what we stand for is legitimacy and long-term value in projects, not just, hey, here's a fun meme and let's make it worth $10 million. There's no value there. Like, I believe that, the same as anything, there has to be something that's backing up the value of that company or that project, however you want to call it. And that's what we're trying to bring to the table. Yeah, we have some things that we host and share and even invest in that are just for fun. But overall, and Matt alluded to this, the core wallet for the community is invested in projects that have superior long-term potential, and just, they're real businesses doing real things, and that's exciting. And so as you look at this as an actual investment instead of gambling, that's part of the benefit of Rebel, is that we are doing all the work, we're doing all the vetting, the research, the contract checking. Yes, we make mistakes sometimes, but generally speaking, we're investing in solid long-term utility-based projects. And that gives investors the privilege to invest in one token, not 17 tokens. They don't have to worry about all the short-term transactions. If they're being honorable in filing taxes, like short-term capital gains, they can invest in one long-term trusted team. And it ties into the previous question. Like, if you've been in our chat, if you've been paying attention to the pinned messages, you know where I work and live. Like, this is a real operation, and we're not scared and not holding anything back, because we know that we're here for the long haul and for the benefit of the community, and that we're going to do great things no matter how long it takes.
I love that. I mean, like, I'm sitting in my office and I'm like nodding my head so hard at all the things that the both of you are saying. And probably to my dog, it sounds like I'm listening to rock music, but beautiful things are being said. And what I love about Rebel is, I was there from the beginning. I never check my wallet. But what I do know is that when I made the financial decision to get into the token, I knew that I was doing it with a trusted team and I had access to that team. And there was a community that was growing from this token, every single day. But aside from just putting it in, putting my funds in and saying, okay, you guys sit here and make the decisions, which, what I said to Matt, it's more than that because you guys bring the projects in. You have an AMA with them. You get the community exposed to who they are, and it helps the community, as member, from one member to another, they're going to identify and shape their own investor identity. So they
Yeah.
can stay with you and they can learn what should I be looking for, what kind of questions, what things should I expect from a governance token, from a meme community token, from a mining utility token.
Mm-hmm.
And through your expertise and your leadership, they can see it through your eyes, right? And so when the whole community comes together and says, "Yes, we want this. We like this project." That person's getting some kind of learning experience from that. And that's important, which is different than, other tokens, for example, like our sister token, which is like we're going to educate you, but we're going to walk you through processes. We're going to walk you through red flags. We're going to do this. You're doing very similar things, but walking people through an example of how to do it. So, in my career, we call that like an IPOP, like you're identifying and you're demonstrating to others what would you go through to vet a project and make a decision on whether or not this is a long lasting, long term investment for all of us. So kudos to you guys. And of course, I'm absolutely excited for the day where mass adoption happens. And I'm there saying I was there first. Well, Matt was there first, but I was there first.
I was there.
I
I was
lost my
there
money
early.
second. We're all
Yes.
here early. It's about access, it's about ease of use. And yes, you're right. Till this day, there are people that are going to resist until relationships on the line. Most resistors won't change, right? So we're excited for when that day comes and we know we're in the right place, but man, it's tough, right?
It's
And
tough.
I thank you guys for spending this time to sit down with me and go through all of this information and sharing your story because I'm sure it's going to impact so many people that listen to it.
It's been good to hang in and have this chat. It reminds us why we're here, which is educating, and that's our motto: educate, divide, achieve. Like, learn, spread yourself out into a lot of different areas you're confident in, and what happens, right? That's what we want to do for the community, is help walk that walk. Part of that here, I love what you're doing in terms of getting the word out and just really, again, bringing legitimacy to this space.
Thank you. We're all doing it together, just like we're all going to make it together.
That's it. We're gonna make it together.
We're going to make it, right? We're going to make it. We're going to be down 0.8 BNB, but we're going to make it up.
Carbon again.
Never
I'm not
going to
gonna
let
sleep
it go, man.
tonight.
I know. I'll send you some crypto love. We'll burn
Oh
something
my
of
goodness.
Rebel. How about that? We'll burn some Rebel and you'll sleep happy.
Burn something. Yes.
Well,
That's right.
also, before I let you guys go, do you guys want to share any secrets on how Rebel Token is going to come with the fire during the Disco Burn Party All Star next season? Season 6 is going to be a regular season, but you guys won a season, and that means you guys are going to be coming back for more burning.
Oh my goodness, Matt, how many DMs do you get? Because people understand how well we know how to play this game.
I get DMs nonstop from every competitor that goes into DBT. Why? Because they know the Rebels hold a large portion. So it's fun. It's great. We look forward to the winners competition, and we'll come like we did the first time, and hopefully we'll leave like we did the first time as winners.
I like it.
It's gonna be a tough competition, and yes, you guys have some street cred in the DBT sphere. So good luck to both of you, and again, thank you so much for your time. And for those of you listening, thank you so much for hanging out with myself, Rebel Matt, and Rebel Ray from Rebel Token. I'll be putting their links into the description, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Carmen.
Thanks a lot.
That was a fantastic session. Thank you so much to Rebel Matt and Rebel Ray, and a huge shout out to the Rebel Traders Token community for doing fantastic things in the crypto space. Now, I want to always give a shout out to DYOR Token, Do Your Own Research Token. They help present the Carmen Crypto Chit Chat, and they're doing everything they can every single day to educate, equip, and empower new investors in this space. Now, if you need help in crypto, definitely check out their website, DYORpro.com. This is your gateway to get a helping hand when trying to learn how to operate safely in crypto, what to look out for, how to avoid the scams. It's one of my favorite tokens. And if you love burning cryptocurrency, definitely check out Disco Burn Token. That's my first love in crypto. This is where we burn cryptocurrencies from any blockchain, but we put them through a wild competition first so you get to know the vibe of the community. Again, thank you so much for listening. And if you want more, definitely like, subscribe, and comment here. Show me some love. Hang out with me as often as you like. Go to @Carmen Crypto Legacy in Telegram. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me who you want to hear on the show, and we'll make it happen. You guys have a fantastic day. And until next time, stay safe.